I know there's a lot of people feeling discouraged, and I totally understand. I have felt a little strange the past few days, even though I was anticipating that there could possibly be an inauguration that went ahead and went forward. Still, just seeing it and going through the whole thing just was not easy to watch and not easy to really process. So, for a few days, I've just been taking it easy, looking at all the information. And I just wanted to make a point here because as I've been watching these videos and watching all the information that's being thrown out there, there's a whole lot of disinformation, even coming from really credible sources. And I just feel that the more that we get caught up in all of these little details and we're trying to figure out and trying to prove that all of this is fake and everything, the more confusing and the more stressful that everything gets. And I think if we can all just come back into our center and know that the proof is in our hearts. And that's why I keep talking about that this is not just an election or not just a physical shift that's going on. This is a spiritual awakening that's happening. And when we have our focus there, that's what we're going to be creating in the earth. We want to be creating the momentum of peace and love and the world that we want to be creating here. But when we get caught up in all these little details and we're trying to prove that this person's wrong and that thing is fake and all of this is happening, that's not where we want to have our focus. So I just want to show you, I use a program called Canva when I'm putting together my thumbnails and all of those kinds of things. And it's really simple, like the thing going around about Biden using his left hand. I mean, come on, people. This is so easy to figure out what's really these pictures that are being put out there. I don't know who's making them. I don't know why people would want to do that unless it was, the deep state people putting that stuff out there. And then I know also, before I show this, I know that these credible sources and these credible platforms are not doing this on purpose. I know they're doing it with a good heart. They're being the detectives trying to find the information. But we have to take it to another level, take it to another step, and really research out even all of the stuff we see coming down the Twitter feed, everything that we see on these sources. Don't just take it point blank, because it just discredits what we're doing here, okay, when we put out all this disinformation. And the truth of it is that there is something powerful happening right now, and we want to keep our focus right there. So I just wanted to preface that before I show you this stuff. I'm not saying anything against these people that have been showing this information. I still believe that they know in their heart that something's not right. There is a lot of fishy stuff going on, and they're just along the way taking in maybe too much of it and not checking on it themselves before they share it. All right, so this is the Canva that I use. This is the picture going around here with Biden using his left hand. And then there's obviously pictures out there with him using his right hand. Well, just with one little flip here, now he's a right-handed man. Okay, so just see how simple it is. Now, what clued me in on this was I just thought, well, I mean, he cannot be that stupid to start using another hand, and even if it was a clone or whatever people want to say. But look at the flags behind him. So this flag here, this blue flag, it's always been on the right side. Even when Trump was in office, this flag was always on the right. In this picture, it's on the left. Okay, so that clued me in there. Okay, this is not real. All right, so that one was easily debunked. Okay, so when people were also going around talking about this Federal Register, there were a few things that written out. This is definitely debunked now, because now it's starting to list all these executive orders that he's written, okay? Now, before it was listing all of these, it was very easy to find the truth out here. All you had to do was go here to one of Donald Trump's years. Let's go to 2009, all right? And it shows he signed it on the 26th. It was published on the 30th. Okay, so it takes, signed on the 17th, published on the 20th. I even saw it here. It's all different amounts of days of how long it takes. So just do a little more digging. Don't take everything just point blank right in front of you, and see that, it takes a few days for these things to show up. So now we've got Joe Biden 2021. It is showing up now. And listen, I totally believe that we are entering into an entirely new system. That this old system is completely coming down. That it really has been a false system. That really we've not even been under a real government since, when was it? 1871. There was several things that happened there that put us on a trajectory of false government. Okay, so and I believe that whole thing's coming down, and I believe that Mr. T and all of his team and the 200 generals that got together the JFK years, and then now the 800 generals and down to colonel that are behind him still, I believe they're still working on this. I believe that this is a huge plan. Things are coming down, but I just think we can get really caught up in these little details that are not true, and it just discredits us. Okay, so the possibility of this being in a set at the Castle Rock Productions, which I understand why people would believe that because of the use of the word Castle Rock in some of the number 17 posts. But the thing is, when you come here to look at Trump's signing, you can easily see a car drive behind him when he's signing his executive order. So it's not just greenery behind the Oval Office, you guys. There's a road, and there are cars that sometimes park along that road. So there was the video of, I'm not going to show it, but you can go look at the signing of Biden's executive orders, and you see a car parked back there, and you see some movement and stuff happening back there. Well, the same thing happened with Trump. So, I believe Biden is probably in the actual Oval Office. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not going to be taken out of there, but See,
that's it.
Right.
Thank you, President.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, reaction to the lawsuit?
Let's watch that one more time.
That's it.
Thank you, President.
Thank you very much. Mr. President.
All right. Okay, so I tend to believe this take on Castle Rock. Just listen to what Ann Vandersteel and Charlie Ward have to say about this.
But anyhow, he told me, these two different people, one said the Space Force chaplain said, don't worry, it's all going to work out. And this guy's known as MAGA supporter. And the gentleman I spoke to just yesterday was talking about, that the fact that there's martial law in D.C. As soon as you get active military with guns, you're now effectively running that under martial law. President Trump subjugated, designated the power over to FEMA and Chris Miller. So it's been out of his hands since before he left office. Hence the reason we saw the Major General from the National Guard on Stephanopoulos' program talking about peaceful transference of power to the military, which was like another little tell. I think it went over Stephanopoulos' head, or maybe it didn't, but he didn't acknowledge it. But what was interesting was that one of the branches that are there have had massive tunnel training. Now, you only see military presence above ground, and we all know D.C. is full of tunnels. I've been in some of them, going back and forth in the Russell Building and Congress and what have you. But that tunnel training was under a program called Castle Rock.
That's right.
Out of Alabama.
All right, so that is the take that I am tending to believe over the Castle Rock Productions set. So just take it or leave it, guys. Okay, I wanted to share one more here with you about the blank sheets of paper that people are alleging that Biden is signing. Okay, that's pretty ridiculous. When you take pictures, when you have video of things, you can't see all the details, okay? It's just in the angle of the shot. And here, when Trump is signing, it looks like a blank sheet of paper. If I were to magnify right now onto this, let's see if I can even do it. Let's see. It'll still look white, okay? It's not going to start showing me more detail in the picture just because I get closer. It's going to show me what the camera was able to pick up. All right, so this is just ridiculous. Don't jump on these things, guys. It really is. Now here we go. You can even see some words here, but I did see some with Biden where it looked exactly like this, okay? And that's what people started running with. But he is signing executive orders, okay? All right. Again, I'm not saying all of this to say that everything that we're seeing is false. There is a lot of misinformation, disinformation out there, and what we need more than ever is the truth. So spreading all of this stuff that's not thoroughly vetted is not helping anyone. And so I've just been surprised that some credible platforms, big platforms, have been sharing out this information. Um, and I also want to speak a little bit on like Charlie Ward, Simon Parks, and how people have been so upset. Listen, those people, I have seen Charlie share a few of these things or talk about these things. But Simon Parks, Robert David Steele, for the most part, they are vetting things themselves. I especially have not heard Simon touch on all these little tiny details. So listen, I don't think that they are totally discredited. I believe in the spirit that they believe in, and that we are conquering this thing. We are taking this beast down. We're cutting off its head, and it's not going to be at work in our lives anymore. We're not going to have to live with the suffering happening in the dark shadows anymore. I truly believe we are being set free from this thing. So let's just keep our eyes where we need to keep our eyes, which is on the truth, which a lot of times is very general. You want to keep it more general. If you haven't listened to any of Abraham Hicks, I encourage you to go listen to some of her videos, because it's really encouraging to understand how to get your vibration aligned with the truth. And that is the most important thing that we do here, because we are powerful creators. And when we're so caught up in all these little details, that is lowering our vibration. Part of the reason is because they're not true. All these little tiny things that people are putting out there, it's not true. So you're focusing on untruths. The only truth that we have is the truth of love, God, spirit, our eternal soul. That's the only truth. That's the eternal source, the eternal truth. And so that is what we need to be focusing on. And that spirit wants freedom for all. That spirit wants deliverance for all. That spirit wants unity and peace for all of us, which is what all of us are wanting right now. That is what is the heart of that spirit. So focus on that. Focus on the truth. The truth will set us free. The truth will set us free. So don't fall for all this stuff. I'm not saying stop watching your favorite platform because they put some of this stuff out there, but really use discernment. It's really important that we use our intuition, our discernment, that we get in touch with our heart. And the only way to do that is to unplug, go into a secret place. The secret place is with God, with love, and empty out there. Empty out your mind, empty out your fears, empty out everything that is distracting us and lowering our vibration, because this is a vibrational shift, a vibrational awakening that's happening. We are moving into an entirely new dimension, I think. I believe. I believe this is the growing pains, the birthing pains of us moving from one consciousness to another consciousness. And we are making that shift. At least some of us are doing that. And it's like giving birth. You know, if you've given birth before, you understand at that last stage of labor, that third stage of labor, there's 3 stages. And that last stage, you feel like you're going to die. You feel like you would rather just die at that moment than continue moving on. And you don't know that you can keep moving forward. And so this time is difficult. It's getting more difficult. It's getting more confusing. We're at the edge of ourselves. We feel like we don't know what's true and what's not. And we've got to really tune in and focus on what is true, what we know for sure to be true. And for me, that is the peace and love that I find within my heart, within myself. And that's where God is within me. And so whatever that place is that you can tap into, whatever it is that you need to do that helps you to move into that place where you're not being tossed to and fro with the wind. You're not going with every little thing that comes onto your feed. You're not just jumping on the bandwagon, because doing that is cluttering, is muddying the vibration. And we need everyone on board with a secure, firm foundation that is rooted in truth, rooted in love. So root yourself in love and in truth. And then you'll start to be able to see through all the disinformation out there. And you'll be able to stay true to the love within you and not get just pulled down every single pathway that comes your way. I'm really wanting us to have the greatest impact right now, because we are shifting into something completely different, and we need everyone on board focusing on the truth, not getting caught up in lies, not getting caught up in disinformation just because that's the instant gratification that we want to feel good. We need to develop a maturity within us that is able to, no matter what's going on, no matter what the circumstances are around us, no matter what's happening, we stay here. We stay in this centered place of knowing the truth within us. We don't need anything on the outside to prove to us what is the truth. All we need is the proof of our heart, the proof of our discernment, the proof of God being a good God that is directing us in the way that we need to go. And being able to discern the seasons and the times right now. We can see so much truth in the astrology, and we can see so much truth in all of the ancient writings that have prophesied during this time. We can see so much truth in even modern prophecies that have happened during this time. Start focusing on those things, because for me, that has a whole lot more clout than all these little things that are popping up. And there are things that are fishy, and trust that. It's okay. I do feel like there's some stuff that really is not right now, okay? But we can't totally determine what that is. All we can do is trust within. That's all we have. Trust the rock of life within us, and all will be well. We are going to be well. That's the end of the story. The end of the story is life, is 1,000 years of peace, is truth, is us being in bliss with God. That's where we can be actually right now. And that's where you want to be right now, because we create from the place of now. We don't create from the future. We create from this place right now. And we create from an abundant place. And we can also create in a powerless place. It depends on what you want to create. Do you want to create more powerlessness, or do you want to create more abundance? Let's come into our abundance right here and now. And that's what we will be creating more of in the future. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next time.